America's first competition talk show.
The hub is engaging.
Talk life.
There's something wrong with the world today. I don't know what it is. Something's wrong with our eyes.
You know, headlines really are driving society these days. And quite frankly, we've got to slow down at some point and think that all the gadgets that we use, all the things that just consume our lives, just have us racing from one headline to the next, guys. And we just cannot seem to concentrate on the deeper meaning, the deeper purpose, the depth that is really going on just beneath the surface of the headlines. And that, hold on. Was that you? No, was that yours?
I was texting.
That was me.
I'm texting you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm on Facebook. So I'll be done in a second.
But the point I'm making here is that, you know, we've got all the gadgets, we've got everything, and they're driving us. They're pushing us ever increasingly toward a lightning speed. We just never slow down to foster community, to foster the kind of things that are fostered when we don't rely on all of this to distract us from the reality that's around us. Right? You agree?
Mm-hmm. You say something?
Joel, this show is important to me, but my cows need feeding on Farmville, so if you'll give me just a second.
Sure.
I'll be with you in just a minute.
Enough. Okay, I'm out of here. This is long for all right. Seriously, though, it's indicative of the way things are.
phone is going off
BlackBerry,
now?
you are directly featured embedded marketing placement in this segment of this program. You owe me money. Now, I do want to bring this up, though, because there are new studies coming out of San Fran, thank you, ma'am, Nan territory right now that are saying that the technology we have, and they have mental health experts and psychologists studying these
Brain
things.
scientists.
Brain scientists saying that our little neurons are being hurt by too much technology. That, quite frankly, the information is created overload, and we cannot even define reality anymore because our reality all fits in these little items. Joe, does this keep you up at night texting?
No, I mean, honestly, yeah, I run my business from my BlackBerry and my laptop, so I'm very focused. Does it keep me up at night? I don't think so, but I read some of the prep and the idea that multitasking maybe doesn't make you as effective or as productive as you think it does. I think there's probably some merit to that.
But if you were outsourcing your work to India, to Bangalore, you would definitely be up on
conference
calls.
Yeah.
Now, but here's the thing with the contraptions that we have these days. The idea originally was, if I can fit it all on my BlackBerry, if I can fit it on my Mac, if I can fit it on my computer, I can consolidate my life down. I will be able to take the responsibilities that are crowding out life, and I'll be able to create more margin in my life. I'll have more freedom in my life, more free time. I honestly believe all we've done with that is said, oh, look, we got more space. Let's cram more into the space we just created.
Right.
Brett, is that what we've done? I mean, it's human nature.
We've created distraction and complication by reducing writing things with a pen and paper. Technology, really, to me, as much as I use it, is frustrating more than it is anything. I hate to say it. It's just...
Yeah. Well, I mean, it allows us, I believe, to not see the bigger picture. We now have computation without compilation, if you want to if you want to look at it that way. And the truth of the matter is, we don't have a long range view of things because we really do. We used to have a program when I was in radio called Sound Bites, where we tried to condense everything in a very comprehensive issue in a comprehensive way, but a very complex issue a lot of times on a daily basis into a 2-minute monologue, because that's about all people can take now. The truth of the matter is, though, the reality we have to live with is that decisions have repercussions. I mean, if you look at our government right now, if you look at the way we are as a nation right now, with the soaring national debt, with the deficit spending, with the fact that we have an entire generation who honestly doesn't have the logic skills to know what is truthhood and what is false and whether there is such thing as truth. These aren't things that happened overnight. These headlines weren't created yesterday, manufactured in a lab. There's a reality to how we arrive where we are. But because we're so speed-driven, I don't think we see the big picture. Joe?
I'm going to pitch a curveball here, though. This debate has raged for a century at least, probably more. Every generation develops their quote-unquote time-saving, labor-saving device and then goes on to do exactly what we said and fill what time was saved with more stuff. And whether that is the electric typewriter or the washing machine or what
The cotton gin.
the cotton gin, the printing press. Let's go back to Gutenberg. So every time-saving device has brought along a new upsurge of this particular argument of, are we trying to deal with too much information? What we have now is maybe some actual data that says we may be approaching the resolution of the brain.
Well, and some of the actual data, Nora Volkow, who is the director of the National Institute of Drug Abuse, she's one of the world's leading brain scientists on this stuff. She's been saying that the upside of this is that the technology can be used, as she puts it, to benefit the brain in some ways. Because the imaging studies they're finding are finding out that the brains of internet users, for example, become more efficient at finding information. The players of some video games actually develop better visual acuity. Cell phone users and computer users, we've been able to transform our lives and get out of the cubicle, quite frankly. So it has had a freeing aspect to it, but we're overachievers. We find a way to fill the hole.
Yeah.
Joe?
Well, you're never not working.
Yeah, you're never
Even
right.
when you're playing, you're working.
Yeah, and as they all say, you're always selling yourself. Whether you're selling anything or not, you're selling
Whether
yourself.
you want to be or not.
Whether you want to be or not, or you're being sold based on somebody's perception of you. Brett?
Yeah, the people I have the most respect for right now are the ones that say, I'm not married to my phone. When I turn it off, it's off. A lot of people have a hard time with that. And if you can turn it off and get away from it and live life, I think that's a good thing.
I think
Well,
it depends
think
on who
that-
you're working for as to whether you can do that. If you're working for someone else, it's a lot easier to turn it off than if you're working for yourself.
Here's the thing. I thought a lot about this because, being in broadcasting for so many years, this has become an issue. It's an interesting issue to me to see how people interact with media. And I'm here to tell you that we are driven to a point of insanity at this point by just the absolute nonstop onslaught of the information. We can make sense of it all if we ever slow down long enough to apply our logic to it and understand. And I believe there's a litmus test for being a society again that honestly our founders intended us to be and everything else. When we become a nation of storytellers again, I will know we're getting somewhere. Because if you think about what it takes to be a good storyteller, you have to know the information. You've got to be able to communicate in allegory and metaphor and everything. You've got to be in community. Mm-hmm. The only place you get these stories is if you're in community. If you're not in community, then you're not getting the story. And you don't know how to put all the pieces together. There's been an effort to keep us divided for a very long time and not see the big picture and not pull ourselves together in community, because a lot of these problems alleviate themselves when we're in relationship with one another, when we're doing the things we have to do to create healthy communities. A lot of these things take care of themselves. You're going to hear me talk about this a lot over the next couple of months. We have a pretty exciting thing coming up on September 17th. If you listen to Glenn Beck or some of the programs on the radio, television, and you know where we are headed as a nation, where we are as a nation, you've heard a lot of things talked about and hinted at over the last couple of years. We're going to bring the big picture home. We're going to get us to focus. We're going to give a launch pad on September 17th into something that will be a perpetual lifestyle for many of us, but it's going to teach us how to tell stories again. If you live in Georgia, you might just want to be there. I'll bring it up on a number of occasions between now and then, but September 17th, we're going to start to rediscover our story. We'll see you tomorrow on The Hook.